Hey guys, this is Aziz and it is Tech Time. Today I'm going to show you one of our machine problem series, and this is part 3. I'm going to go ahead and start our tutorial. The tutorial is going to be on a college application processing. So here is the Word file which I'll be uploading on our site indiedevelopment.co. I'm going to give you a brief description on it. It's going to be processing the applications which are for only liberal and music college. There are two colleges. It's a very small, simple homework kind of thing. The liberal art has conditions: no more than 5 people. If the person is alumnus, if their parents is alumnus, then their GPA is 3.0 and their SAT score is 1000. Otherwise, their GPA must be 3.5 and their SAT score combined is 1200. It can't be less than that. It can be higher but not less. If they're music, we don't care for alumnus or not, or their GPA, or anything like that, like combined SAT score. So we're only going to care if we only can accept 3 students and their math and verbal SAT scores each has to be 500. The file will be organized as the college name first, L or M, their high school GPA, their math SAT score first, then verbal SAT, then whether their parent is alumnus or not. The output will be looking similar like this. So we're going to have a applicant counter. We're going to display them what they have inputted for us, and we're going to decide whether they go in or not. So let's minimize it and start our Visual Studio. So go ahead to Start menu and type Visual. There it is. There's Visual Studio. We launch it. We make a new project, or you can go to File, New Project. Click on that. There it is. If you're not in Visual C++, click on Other Languages and you'll find Visual C++ here. Click on it. Empty project right in here, and name it College Applications. There it is. And I'm gonna number it 2 just because I'm organizing it in a way. Okay. There is the Solution Explorer. If Solution Explorer is not showing up, if for some reason it's hidden like this, you can just click on that and press Auto Hide. If it's not, don't play with it. If it's not coming up, there is Solution Explorer right here, or View Solution Explorer. Other than that, let's go and start our code. Right click on Resource Files, Add New Item, and go to C++ file right in here, .cpp, and name it main. Add the file and go to Resource Files, right click, Add New Item, and this new item will be a text file. You can either go to Utility and find the text file here, or go to Visual C++, scroll all the way down, and you'll find text file right in here. If I'm going too fast for you, just pause the video or tell me and feedback on the commenting or the forums, whatever you want. You can name it in here input, and just name it input. That's it. For you, you can name it whatever you want. For myself, I'm gonna name it input. That's it. Add. There's the input right in here, and let's drag it to the right like that so we can see what we're dealing with. Let's minimize it. Okay. Let's get the input file, and I'm going to be putting this up on the website. I'm going to add this here. This is designed to test every single error there might be. So I put it this way, so you're gonna have it ready for you. Now let's start our code. First thing first, we're gonna include the libraries. Let me zoom in first. 140 for those of you who use laptops. Hopefully this will help. And let's start by including IOStream. There it is, IOStream. And we know that we're going to be using files, so let's include fstream. Include fstream. There it is. Now we can do main. We can do using name space std. Then we can do main. Usually I do void main, but this time I'm going to do int and main. Open close, and do return 0 here. I'm doing this just because the Apple products with Xcode compiler needs it to be integer, not a void. So we're going to do this differently. Doesn't matter. We can do system pause right here. Okay. Now we're going to have to open the file. That's the first thing we need to do. So if stream, let's define it. We're going to do fn just like cin and open the file. The file name is input.txt. We need to do double quotes before that. Input.txt. Now you realize that this is wrong. This is a small letter I. This is a capital letter I. But Visual Studio will open it and will not care for case sensitive. That is a new thing. So we need to test it. Does it open the file or not? So we can do if this is exclamation mark, it stands for not. If not open, then we are going to do cout. There is an error with the file. And we can do end line right in here. So take your time to write it. And then we can do system pause, and then we can do return. We can do exit 0. The reason for that is I want you to see this. I want the user to see this. We pause it, and then after they press any key to continue, we can exit, so we don't run through the whole code when there is an error. Let's see it. Debug. Start without debugging. See what happens. It didn't see any errors, so press enter. Now let's change this I to a U. Now debug, start without debugging, and see the error here. There is an error with the file. You can see that the letters change. When you change the letter, it knows there's an error. If you don't, it doesn't. So let's just make sure that it's case sensitive. We match it so we don't have any errors. That's just better programming. So now let's see. Opening file. This is just for me, for commenting, and for you to be organized. You should do this, but it's up to you. And here, let's go name it variables, and we're gonna need a few variables. First thing, we're gonna need a character variable to determine whether the student is applying to liberal arts or music, and if their parent is a luminous or not. So char for characters, and we're going to name it col type for college type, and equal to space, comma, then allum for luminous equal space also, and then close it. We're gonna need a GPA. GPA is not a whole number, so it's either a double or a float. I'm going to use floats just because they use less bits, and float equal 0, or actually name it first, GPA. And you don't name it capital letters, because capital letters are for constants, and this is not a constant. So GPA equals 0.00f, just because 2 decimal points are sometimes used with GPAs. Now we create the rest of them as ints. We are going to need a math SAT score equals 0. We're going to need a verbal SAT score equals 0. We are going to need a SAT total equals 0. We're going to need a number of music students equals 0. Num of liberal students equals 0. And we also need a applicant equals 0. Now we have all the variables that we need. Just like when you build a house, you need all the tools, then you start building. So that's the same way. You need to know what you need. Now, and here we do processing. So first thing we're gonna do is open the file. Input from the file. So first thing you need to input is college type, as it is organized right in here. And here it tells you your program must take college type and what their GPA is, and SATs and whatnot. So let's go ahead and do it here. College type first, then second their GPA, then third their math SAT score, then their verbal SAT score, then we can take their luminous or not right in here. So now we have all the inputs. Now we can do some processing, some simple processing. For example, SAT total. We already have math and verbal. So let's do math SAT plus verb SAT. This is very simple, and it's a simple calculation. Now we got input, we need to process it, but what if we have more than one input? So we need to do a loop to go through every single input. So while not the end of the file, this is file, while if I do this, it will check if it is the end of the file. But this one, while it's not the end of the file, keep going. So in here, we're going to do most of our, all of our processing actually. We can copy this, select it, right click, copy, and click right here, right click, paste right here. The reason for that is because you first get input, check. Is it the end of the file? No. Get input, check. Get input, check. Get input, check. Otherwise, if you just put one in here, it will skip. It will make two lines at the end of the same last line. So it will have a problem. This is just a good way of formatting your while not end of the file loop. So let's start with our output. First thing, we're going to need to display the applicant number. So, and then after it we echo whatever they gave us. So we're going to count it, applicant plus plus. Every time we get an input that's an applicant plus plus, that will add it, and then we'll display it, cout applicant number, and that's shift 3. Then we can do applicant, and then we're going to do an end line. That will show the applicant number. Then after it, we can do we can check what college it is. So if call type is equal to L, because it's a character, we use single quotes. And let's open and close it here. If the college type is actually liberal arts, then we're going to display to them student is applying to the liberal arts college. We're not going to put a semicolon here because we need to continue with our output, but we need to format it under a few lines. So here it is. GPA is GPA, and then you put an end line here because I want to format it in a way that it's one after another. You can either do this end line and then do math SAT is equal to is just math SAT, and you can do this end line and then do verb SAT. We need to add actually 2 less than's. Apologize, I forgot that. Verbal SAT, and then display verb SAT right here. It will show verbal SAT. Then we can continue with the rest of it, and we show whether they're luminous or not. But before that, we need to show the combined SAT. So combined SAT, we need to show SAT tot, and then after it we can do luminous. We can display it to them. Okay, now we've showed them all their info that they've given us. We can put an end line right here actually, just to make sure that is formatted correctly. And after that, let's see what happens. Debug, start without debugging. Here it is. Now it's giving us application number, student is applying to this place, and here's their information and application number second. But this is not correct. We need to do it in a better way. So let's put an end line here just to format it better way. Right in here it will separate them. We put an end line right in here also just to separate all these information, and otherwise if it's not a liberal arts student, it will be a music student. So we don't need a condition, we just need else. So let's copy this. Right click, copy, click here, right click, paste, and go students applying to, just change this to music. That's it. That's all you need, music college. So now let's test it. Debug, start without debugging. Now it's formatted in a better way. Application number, student is applying to this place, and we put an end line, and then it continues with the rest of information. But it's still not perfect. So let's close it. And student is applying to this place. Let's put two end lines right here. Same thing right here. And let's put the stars between them, because right in here you see that there are stars in between them. So to do that, we can do cout end line first, and then and then do the stars. Just put however many stars, just this much of an amount will be fine, because we never know how many. We don't really know how big is the command prompt with every character, so just put as many as you want. And debug, start without debugging. There it is. Now it's formatted in a better way. Application number, student applying to this college, all of their information, and then the stars, and it separates every input. Here it is. So let's close it. Now we can do the real processing, whether they're accepted or not. So the conditions are, for the liberal arts, there are no more than 5 students. So let's check for that. If number of liberal students is higher or equal to 5 students, so if we already have 5 students, we can't accept anymore. If we have more than 5 students, we also can't accept anymore. So that's the condition. The code will be for it, just an output, simple output, cout, put an end line right in here first. Student is not accepted due to high enrollment. And put an end line at the end also. And now we can check for whether they are luminous or not. And actually semicolon here first, and let's check. So if we don't have 5 students, let's check if they are luminous or not. If, or actually else if. So if it's not less than if we have space, then let's check if they are luminous or not. So a lum is equal to y. If they are luminous, then we will do conditional testing for 2 things: GPA, combined SAT. So if their GPA is less than 3.0, then we will say cout end line, student is not accepted due to low GPA score, and put an end line at the end. Otherwise, if it's not the case, else if SAT total is less than 1000, then we will say cout, put an end line, student is not accepted due to low SAT score. Otherwise, if their GPA is fine, their SAT score is fine, they're luminous, there is space in the college, else if all of that is okay, then there is no other than they've been accepted. So cout student is accepted to the liberal, let's capitalize that, liberal arts college. There it is. Put an end line. Now we need to do something else. Number of liberal students is higher or equal to 5, but we never added it any students, so it will forever be 0. Now in here, now that we've accepted the student, we will add him to our system. Number of liberal students plus plus. Now this one will add the student to our system, and every time we accept someone, we add it, then we check. Do we have enough space? Do we have enough space? If not, then get out. If yes, go check his conditions. So now we checked for a luminous condition. Otherwise, if they're not a luminous, else, open and close brackets, let's check. If GPA is less than 3.5, then we're going to say cout student is not accepted due to low GPA score. And here, same thing as we did before. Else if SAT total is less than 1,200, then cout student is not accepted due to low SAT score. Just exactly like we did before. Put an end line right here. Otherwise, let's just copy this. It's exactly the same. Otherwise, they're accepted. We add them to our system. And that's it. That's for the liberal arts. That's the whole thing. Now, we can check for the music students. The conditions are no more than 3 students. So if number of music students is higher or equal than 3, then we will say cout student is not accepted due to high enrollment. And then we put an end line right here, and that's it. Otherwise, if we have space, then let's check their SAT score. So else if their math SAT, because we check each, math SAT is less than 500, then we say cout end line student is not accepted due to low math SAT score. Now we checked for a math SAT. Otherwise, if it is okay, then let's check verbal SAT. If it's less than 500, then we can say cout student is not accepted due to low verbal SAT score. That's it. It's very simple input-output. Otherwise, if we have space, their math SAT score is higher than 500, their verbal SAT score is higher or equal to 500, then we can say else, okay, they're accepted, cout student is, actually let's put an end line right in here first, student is accepted to the College of Music. Or I believe I did it differently here, to the Liberal Arts College. Okay, let's do it differently, and let's not put an end line right in here. Student was accepted to the Music College. Again, you can do it any different way you want. I'm just doing it this way. Every programmer is different. So put an enter right here. Now we need to put in our system number of music students plus plus. That's it. That's the whole code. Let's run it and see what happens now. Debug. Start without debugging. Maximize it and see. Number 1, application number 1. And let's check our file right in here. Let's grab it closer to it and see what happens. Okay. Application number 1, yes it is. He's applying to liberal arts. Okay, student is not accepted due to low GPA. They're luminous, their GPA is less than 2.9, they need 3.0. Correct. Low SAT score, liberal arts, luminous, they need 1,200, or they need 1,000. They don't have that, correct. In number 3, liberal arts and not luminous, but their GPA is low. 3.5 is what they need, that is correct. Liberal arts, not luminous, they need 1,200 for SAT. They don't have it, so they get out. For this one, music, their math SAT score is low, is saying math SAT, correct. Their music, their verbal SAT score is low, it tells them their verbal SAT score is low, so they're not accepted. So let's go to 7. Now number 7, student is applying to a liberal arts college. They're luminous, they have everything is fine, and I just copy pasted all that to check if it's doing high enrollment or not. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now the 6th one is not accepted due to high enrollment. That's correct. The next one who applies to liberal arts also not accepted due to high enrollment. That's good. Now we're okay. So we checked all the liberal arts errors. For 14, students applying to music. He's okay. We accept him. I copied that also. So okay, okay, not okay. We have already 3 students, 1, 2, 3. Now we cannot accept due to high enrollment. This one saying the error, high enrollment. Same thing with this one. So we avoid all the errors. We did it correctly. Let's press enter. And let me walk you through the code to give you just a brief description on it. As usual, libraries, main, opening the file, checking for if the file opens or not. Normal variables, processing, opening the file, doing SAT total. The loop for the file, how many applicants we have, plus plus, to count them. We display it. We echo the output to them, whatever they gave us. If it is liberal arts students, college type, after we give them the output, we check, do we have space? If yes, continue. If not, display this. Are they alumnus? If yes, then check their GPA, their SAT total. If there are no errors, tell them they're accepted, then add them to our system, number of liberal students, plus plus. Otherwise, if they're not alumnus, then they have to be not alumnus. Then if GPA and SAT score is okay, if not, then we display errors. If they are okay, then we accept them to our system and we add them, number of liberal students, plus plus. So now we checked for liberal arts. If they're not liberal arts college, then they have to be in music, so we just do else. We don't need a conditional thing. So cout, we echo the data if number of music students is higher or equal to 3. So if we have space, we continue. If we don't, then not. Then otherwise, we check for math SAT and verbal SAT. If there are no errors, we continue. If there are, we display something to them. So if there are no errors, we have space. Their math SAT score is okay. Their verbal SAT score is also okay. Then we tell them they've been accepted. Then we add them to our system right in here. Number of music students, plus plus. Then we do the stars right between them to separate them. Then we get a new input, so the system can check it right in here. And we do system pause, return 0. And let me just walk you through one of the codes. So dot F5, let's drag this on the side and maximize it a little bit and put this aside right in here. Okay, so F10, we open the file is open, we create these variables. Now GPA is garbage, now it is 0.00, and same thing with the rest of them. We open the file, now we have input inside it, as you can see right in here if we hover over it. And there you go. So now we made SAT total right in here. It changed. Let's keep this in auto hide, and we have this. Now we go inside the file, applicant plus plus. Now it's 0, now it's 1. There you go, 1. If college type is liberal, yes it is. Then we display all this information that we just got. Here it is, every one of them. Then we check, do we have space? 0 is higher or equal to 5? No. Okay, we continue. Are they alumnus? Are they? It seems like they are. Yes, they are. Go in. Is their GPA less than 3.0? Yes, it is. Cout, student is not accepted due to high enrollment, due to low GPA. Else, we don't need to test for it. So we get out of it. Cout all the stars. Then get a new input. There it is. L, liberal arts. Their GPA is okay. Their math SAT and verbal SAT is not okay. They're alumnus. So let me run you really quick through it, and let's see what errors do we get. There it is. It checked and said low SAT score. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it because I showed you all you need. So now there's the code. I'm gonna comment it out and put it on the website, and put the video on the website, and put the input right in here, this file, on the website. If you need it, just go ahead and download it from indiedevelopment.co inside the C++ machine problem tutorial. It's not going to be there right away. It's going to be edited soon. If you have any questions, any suggestions, any feedback, anything, I'm happy to help you. is what I do. Go to my YouTube channel and comment, or go to indie development, go to forums, register, post something, and make sure you subscribe to it so you can get your email right away when I respond. I'm here to help you whenever you need it, so please ask whenever you want something, and please like and subscribe. Thank you for watching.